All right, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Halal Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So all praises unto the Most High, and His beloved Son, who you ignorantly call Christ. Let give double honors to the elders, the apostles, and great millstone. Peace and blessings and salutations be to the hopeful elect brethren, those in His gospel. God love understanding Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, wherever it may be. This is a quick lesson through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, titled that the American economy is done. Okay, this place is done. All right, the dollar's getting ready to collapse. All hell is getting ready to break loose, and they're going to institute what you call the mark of the beast, which is a whole prelude to this whole coronavirus outbreak, which is set up to get you forcibly vaccinated, which is going to bring in a mind frame of accepting the RFID chip, which is definitely the mark of the beast according to the Bible. Okay, so anyway, without further delay, it says European stock markets are falling at the start from the trading on Wednesday, beginning the new quarters with fresh losses, and the death toll in the United States from COVID-19 continues to climb. So right there, they are calling this basically the calm before the storm. Okay, because that's a phrase. Even Trump quoted that. He says the calm before the storm. You know, we can take that a lot of different ways because the scriptures say peace and safety and then sudden destruction coming upon them as a woman in travail. All right, so we're living in the dark days of America, which they're going to get darker and they're going to be more Slovakia, darker and more turbulent during these times we're living in. Okay, because they say, once again, quote me, the calm before the storm. All right, and hey, this is the spirit and will of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah, who you ignorantly call God and Jesus Christ. This is their will. All right, and the scriptures say thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay, so reading further, it says here, Germany's DAX plunged over 3% during early trading, while British and French stock markets have dropped by over 4%. Spain's IBX and Italy's FTSE and MIB are both down over 2%, but the losses are led by shares in Britain's bank, which dropped heavily at the start of trading after they froze last year's dividends and vowed not to pay any for this year. All right, so this is the breaking up of the beast system. Okay, because you see all these European markets, all right, which other scriptures goes into the 10 toes, part miry clay, and then the other half was strong in the book of Daniel, the 2nd chapter. This is that prophecy being fulfilled, because once this beast system breaks up, it's going to leave this whore vulnerable, because you got something which is called you protect your collateral, so to speak. You know, without all these allies, America is going to be pretty much left out there, vulnerable and made desolate by the allies, because right now they can blame this economic collapse on the fact that America has spreaded this COVID-19, okay, which we believe that Esau was behind it, okay, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, because the Most High is the one that's going to take the credit for all these things that's being done here. But nonetheless, man, through the spirit, hey, this place is finished, you know. So it says both losses are led by shares in Britain's bank, which dropped heavily at the start of trading after they froze last year's dividends and vowed not to pay any for this year, right? Because they ain't got the money. It says HSBC has plunged 8%, followed by Lloyd's and Standard Chartered, which have both fallen almost 6%. But markets are reacting to dire warnings from the U.S. President Donald Trump. It says of a very, very painful 2 weeks ahead. He said Americans should prepare for a surge in coronavirus infections and death. Okay, so right there, this is the quiet before the storm. It says this could be a hell of a bad 2 weeks, and this is going to be a very bad 2 and maybe 3 weeks, and this is going to be 3 weeks like we've never seen before. So man, they're planning on doing something, man. Okay, like the scriptures say, the devil should come down having great wrath because he have but a short time. Hey, this put me in the mindset of that, because how can he tell that who's going to be a fatality and not, unless they were behind this thing, you know? But it says White House officials are projecting between 100,000 and 240,000 deaths in the country, with coronavirus fatalities peaking over the next 2 weeks. So basically, they're telling you that this whole coronavirus dealt a dramatic blow to the economic infrastructure. Okay, but it says investors are now focused on Eurozone's unemployment data for February and final Eurozone manufacturing PMI data that are due to be published, showing how bad factories have suffered from COVID-19 March shutdown. But European stock markets have posted their worst quarter in nearly 2 decades as the COVID-19 pandemic has forced nationwide shutdowns across the continent. But by Tuesday's close, the Pan-European Stock 600 index had fallen by 23% since the start of the year, and this marked its worst first quarter result ever, but narrowly beating the 23.33% loss posted in the third quarter of 2002. So they're taking hits here, and this is a systematic collapse. And we speak on it in a group meet, etc. But hey, Esau's empire is totally collapsing, man, because they want to set up the new world order. And this is the whole thing. The whole agenda is global. It's just not constituted to America. It's a global thing. It's a global pandemic. It's a global agenda because the New World Order is called New World Order, not just New American Order, New World Order. With Esau, Edom being the frontier, he's being the higher echelon of these other nations. Sure, you got Moabites and Ammonites and Ishmaelites and different nations that's gonna sit in the head of the UN, but nonetheless, Esau has set up all these different dictators under their conglomerate. Okay, so this is the book of Zephaniah 1. And I'm going to start at verses 10. It says, "And it should come to pass in that day, says Yahweh, that there should be a noise from the cry." It says there should be the noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. This represents the countries being bankrupt and economic downturns throughout the world. Okay, this is what the men of the Lord prophesied about. If you go into the book of Jeremiah, he prophesied about these said phenomena. Isaiah, Ezekiel, all these different men of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, including us down. We prophesied about this, but people say, how can you call yourselves prophets and you're reading just out of the book? Well, for one thing, because the prophecies are already written down. We've already had these visions thousands of years ago, even currently. And we're coming back to understand what we wrote down, because most of the prophets didn't understand what they had written. Like the book of Daniel didn't understand it for real. Okay, what John saw in the book of Revelation, he didn't understand it. Same thing with certain diviners of Ezra. He understood certain prophecies, but a lot of the prophecies were said to be fulfilled at a later time. So this is why we call ourselves the men of the Lord, the prophets, because for one thing, we've already written it. We've had the vision. Now we're coming back to break it down, because only the prophets was going to get interpretation of these scriptures and teach them to Israel, man. That's the whole point, and that's why Paul said he set up certain leaders, prophets, teachers, pastors, which pastors and preachers is just another way of saying prophet or seer. Okay, because the seers are the men of the Lord. A seer is a person that's like a visionary. All right, and we see these things coming to pass. Okay, so it says here, "And how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people are cut down, all they that bear silver are cut off." All right, so scriptures say that your silver nor gold will be able to save you in the day of the Lord's wrath. So eventually, man, this whole system is crashing, but they're gonna try to redeem it by setting up digital currency. This is why you read in the papers and in the different markets and the indexes that they have what you call digitized currency, which they want to have that mandated by next year. And they possibly went ahead on that because a brother made an excellent point. He said, well, look, man, we believe that they're behind schedule, so therefore things are going to speed quick. And I mean, this thing took off quick, man. Esau and the Most High, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, is making big chess moves, man. He's jumping pawns and kings and things of that nature to get to the queen, the checkmater. Okay, and hey, that's what's getting ready to happen. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So hey, the water to the Most High, for these prophecies and for the understanding of these precepts, because we can still be lost like the average 2/3 Joe in the world, but hey, the water Yahweh Shem Yahushua once again for waking us up to this truth, to the facts that, hey, the Israelites are going to be delivered. Okay, and it says here, and it should come to pass. Matter of fact, no, I have to read that, but yep, how ye inhabitants of Mektesh, for all the merchant people were cut down, and all their bear silver cut off. All right. And it says here, and it should come to pass that I will search Jerusalem with candles and punish the men that are settled on their leaves. These 2/3, these docile prophets out here that's teaching against the doctrine and speaking on different doctrines that has nothing to do with the scriptures, man. Okay, they're not prophesying and they're not really doing the work of an evangelist, but yet they're feeding their own bellies. All right, it says, I will punish the men that are settled on their lees and that say in their heart, the Lord would not do good, neither will he do evil. So this is you complacent Negroes out there. All right, and it says, therefore, their good should become booty in their houses of desolation. All right, because hey, they kick in your doors, they're gonna snatch you out of there, and they're gonna throw you headfirst in a FEMA camp. I know that's another thing. You got men out there stating that the Bible don't speak on FEMA camps, and we're gonna get into that. All right, Lord's will, my next lesson. But it says here, and they should also build their houses, but not inhabit them. And they should plant vineyards, but not drink the wine thereof. Because even around the Kansas City metro area, you got new development going around the clock, man. But a lot of it is going to be null and void because you ain't going to be able to inhabit those new $250,000 condos you're building up over the city. Ain't going to be no hope. Who's going to be able to pay the rent? Who you going to lease them out to? You know? And it says, and the day of the Lord is great and it is near. It is near and it hasten greatly. And the scriptures say, hasten the day. But even the voice of the day of Yahweh. Then the mighty men should cry bitterly. You know, you army, you war soldiers, you men that's in upper echelon government, you splinter cells, you espionage agents, you know, CIA, MI6, MI5, NSA, you know, the British Secret Service. You know. And it says, and that day is a day of wrath. And it says here, a day of trouble and distress, and a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, and a day of clouds and thick darkness. And this is going against the, going into the nuclear missiles, man, the nuclear destruction. And it says a day of the trumpet in the alarm against the fitting cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood should be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. And neither their silver nor their gold should be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath. Okay, so money, gold, silver, bunkers, that stuff is null and void. It's not going to happen. You can build the most prolific bunker in Babylon, and the missiles going to chew you up out of there. And those of you that get away, you know, like in the movie Elysium, a lot of you Jakes, man, well, a lot of you Edomites that's in government, you're just going to be rounded up and put head first into captivity, because basically you're hasting your slavery. You know, so hey, speed the prophecies up. You know, the Lord is going to speed things up. All right, because when you institute the chip, that's when the Most High is going to do away with you. But it says, but the whole land should be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he should make even a speedy witness of all them that dwell on the land. So that's coming here. But anyway, with that, all praises and glory, honor that's due to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the elders, the apostles, the great millstone, and blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect, those in the gospel abroad, lifting up the standard of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, wherever they may be. And with that, shalom and a ball.